Hello friends, welcome to Gents. Today I want to talk to you about fragrances that are shockingly good.
Like really good. Really good. Shockingly good fragrances. Why shockingly? I don't know. Well, actually I do know. For some of these, they're shockingly good just because they smell downright amazing. Others are shockingly good because they come from either a house maybe or a line where you wouldn't expect it to be as good as it is. Because sometimes you expect trash and then you are rewarded with treasure. So let's jump into it really quickly and run through these 7 scents that are shockingly good. Before we jump into this, let me give you a code. That code, you know it already, but I'm giving it again. It's Gents10, okay? That's gonna get you 10% off twistedlily.com or maxaroma.com. So essentially, if you were thinking about buying a fragrance and you were thinking to yourself, dang man, I'm gonna have to buy this at full retail. Well, now you don't. Now you get 10% off. Take that 10% off, you invest that. Invest that in stocks that pay dividends and just let it grow. Or just be like Wall Street bets and just go for it, man, I guess. Let's kick it off with this Dunhill. It's Amalfi Citrus. Would you look at that? Just look at it. Now, why is this shockingly good? Well, first off, because it smells shockingly good. I love the way this stuff smells. Interestingly, my wife was not as keen on it when I got this in. She kind of peed on my parade a little bit because I was like, wow, look at how amazing this fragrance is from Dunhill. It's so good. The quality is amazing. And I got it for this really good price. And look at the bottle. It's heavy. And look at the fragrance. It's green. Look at that. Smell it. And then I sprayed it on and had her take a whiff. And she's like, it's too bitter. I think it's awesome. You got a lot of citrus in here, a whole bunch of different citrus notes. You've got green tea as one of the notes in the fragrance. You've got some florals in here, some white florals. And then as it dries down, you got some woods, you have some vetiver that comes out. I mean, this stuff is tailor-made to be like the perfect, classy, brisk, slightly bitter citrus scent for spring and summer. Just a classic for that. I mean, the fragrance itself is not classic. It's pretty new. So that fragrance, I think, smells amazing. And come around next spring, you know I'm gonna be busting that one out. And it's even more shocking because Dunhill, frankly, puts out a lot of fragrances that suck. They put out a lot of ones that are really bad. But this line of fragrances is good. So those, yeah, feel free to check those out with impunity. Next fragrance I want to talk about is 1 Million Lucky from Paco Rabanne. Interestingly, like 2 days ago, I was in my local mall. I was at the Belk and they got a fragrance counter set up there and there was a couple shopping for fragrances. And I know some of you think that I should like step in and be like, wait a second, let me give you some knowledge here, okay? But I did not do that. There was an older lady who was working the fragrance counter and she was helping them. And it would have been pretty douchey to just kind of like make the knife hand and just kind of put myself in between, you know? Like they're talking here and I just work my way in, just kind of, thank you, you're not needed here anymore. Get out of here, Martha. I've got it from here. It's okay. But they were checking out the old Paco Rabanne counter at the Belk fragrance counter. So you had Phantom up there. They actually had Phantom on a little pedestal there. Had that little robot overlord looking over the other fragrances. 1 Million Elixir, 1 Million Lucky was there, and a number of others. And actually 1 Million Lucky, the fragrance lady was making a push for them to pick it up. She was like, oh, 1 Million Lucky. This is one of our best ones. Yeah, it was creepy. And then they went to 1 Million Elixir and she was like, that one's probably the sweetest one people love. I don't know why I told that story other than just I was seeing somebody try to sell 1 Million Lucky in the wild like 2 days ago and it like stuck in my mind. Trying to like listen in on what the fragrance people at the counter, you know, how they try to sell it. She was like, yeah, that one, 1 Million Lucky, that one's really fresh. It's very fresh, the freshest one over here. And I'm like, okay, and what else? Oh, that's it? But yeah, 1 Million Lucky is an interesting juxtaposition of notes and accords. So you have fresh parts of the fragrance, very fresh parts actually. And then you also have these deeper, richer, sweeter parts of the fragrance and they kind of mingle together. So you end up getting this fragrance that's like half spring, half fall. And ultimately that means it's good for both. And it's a big time compliment puller, smells very nice. different than pretty much everything else in the 1 million line, but I think it stands apart quite well. Really, really nice fragrance. Shockingly good for the 1 million line. Shockingly different, I'd say, actually. Next, let's go with Bois d'Argent from Christian Dior. Have not talked about this in a long time, and that's a shame on me. This one is awesome, but I'm a big fan of Iris. You all know that. Iris fragrances, that's my jam. Iris notes, and Bois d'Argent, it's got a doozy of one. It's a little different take on Iris as compared to most of the other big designer Iris fragrances out there. You've got a great sweetness and warmth to this one with honey and bits of woods, but at the same time, it does have that powdery makeup-y feel from the Iris. I think it's just so done. It's exquisite. Bois d'Argent, one of my favorite Iris fragrances, period. It's a different type of Iris as compared to something like Dior Homme Intense or Valentino Uomo Intense. But as far as my love for that scent goes, it's pretty much right there with them. Now, Armaf Club de Nuit Milestone. It really pains me deep into my soul, actually, to have Bois d'Argent and then follow it up with Armaf, but it's too late now. So the reason this one is shockingly good is because, well, first off, it's an Armaf, and a lot of Armafs, they ain't very good, okay? And then Club de Nuit Milestone, this is, of course, a clone of Millésime Imperial from Creed. Basically, Club de Nuit Intense Man, you know, big Aventus clone, and very successful. The opening a little iffy, but then Club de Nuit Urban Man came out afterward, which is absolute trash, terrible fragrance. Essentially a cheap Armaf clone of Mr. Burberry Eau de Toilette meets Eau de Parfum. Was anybody asking for that? Oh man, Mr. Burberry Eau de Parfum is so sick, but I can't afford it. I really wish somebody would come out with a terrible smelling alternative. Yeah, great. So with Armaf, it's very hit or miss. And with Urban Man coming out before this, hopes for me not super high. And then Milestone comes out and you smell it and you're like, oh, this is like really freaking close to the Creed. Like really, really close, way closer than it should be. And now I feel bad for liking it. But yeah, this is an amazing clone of Millésime Imperial, only way cheaper. And it's shockingly good because how can something smell this nice that costs this little in a bottle that looks like this? Let's swing out to this one, Odibo from L'Occitane. I've always loved this. Odibo is amazing. It's green, it's woody, it's smoky, it's sweet, it has a wonderful vanilla to it. It is, for me, the #1 fragrance that L'Occitane has ever done and will ever do. I don't think that they can outdo this. I mean, technically, is it possible? Yes. Do I think it's ever gonna happen? No. Surprisingly, shockingly, amazingly good, because you just wouldn't expect something this nice to come from a brand that most people just associate with being kind of like a one-off small store in their mall. They have changed the presentation a little bit. They changed the way it looks a little, and I think they shrunk the bottle to 75 mils. It used to be 100, so that sucks, but the fragrance is still awesome. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit of fig business with this one. Marc Jacobs for men. Now, when you hear Marc Jacobs, at least as far as fragrances go, most people just think about the ladies' fragrances, because Marc Jacobs has way too many ladies' fragrances. Well, that's not fair to say. They have a lot of ladies' fragrances. Maybe not too many, because then a lot of people out there love them. So I take that back. I retract that statement. And the ladies' fragrances, a lot of times those bottles are pretty, I don't know if tacky is the word, but they're extra. They've got a lot of stuff going on. You know, they've got big flowers coming off of them, or they look like little bees and all kinds of other stuff going on. But Marc Jacobs, for as much as they are known for women's fragrances, they are not known for men's fragrances. There was Bang, which looked like somebody punched the bottle and it smelled like a pepper bomb. And then there was the fantastically named Bang Bang that came out afterward, which had the same bottle but was blue, which commands a little bit of a premium nowadays. And then there's Marc Jacobs Men, and this would be my choice if you're going to be looking for a Marc Jacobs, this little guy right here. I actually got Bang years ago at TJ Maxx and then saw Bang Bang, didn't pick it up. Stupid me. So this one, as I said, fig, one of the main notes in here. We also got tonka, so you get a little bit of sweetness in there. It has an aquatic feel at times. It's got this nice watery cleanliness, I should say. Nice fresh spices, a little touch of fruit, a little hint of woodiness in there as well. But ultimately the fig is what is going to make or break this one for you. I really like the presentation. Very minimalistic, very simplistic, nice looking. And the fragrance is just a great, easy wear. It doesn't have amazing performance. It's not going to project like a monster. It's not going to last for 12 hours. But while it's on your skin and while you can pick it up, it smells amazing and will definitely set you apart. And that one is shockingly good because first, it's from Marc Jacobs. Second, it's one of the better fig designer fragrances that's ever come out. And third, it does not have butterfly or bee wings and a stinger coming off of it like all the nice ladies bottles. Last but not least, L'Instant de Guerlain Extreme from Guerlain. So this one is another one where the presentation has changed, but unlike Odibo, which had a small change, this one had a big change. So this is a vintage bottle of L'Instant de Guerlain Extreme. If you want to find one of these nowadays, you are going to have to pay a lot of money. One of these older ones with the black rim, pricey, way too pricey. But you can still find this fragrance. It's just now it goes by the name of L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Parfum. And also the bottle has changed and looks like this over here, which is not quite as memorable as this bottle, but whatever. You can still find it. That's the important thing. This one is very elegant, very classy, very gentlemanly. Some people would say a little bit mature. It's got a nice amount of patchouli in there, cacao, and star anise as well. So out of everything we've talked about, far and away, this is going to be the one best suited for evenings, for fall, for winter. A lot of Guerlain fragrances are really well known by people in the fragrance sphere, the fragosphere, or whatever you want to call it. And then outside of it, at least in the United States, not as many people really know about them. And so something like that absolutely will have you smelling like $1 million, have you standing out from the crowd. And frankly, it's shockingly good with this one just because it's friggin' shockingly good. Like, it just smells that good. There is also Nascimato Pardon, which is a little bit similar to this one, only that is obviously more expensive. It's a niche fragrance, and it is a bit higher quality than what you're gonna find in a modern batch of L'Instant de Guerlain Eau de Parfum. So if money doesn't matter to you at all, if you've got a lot of walking around money, you could get Nascimato Pardon, and that's gonna get you something similar to this, but even better. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. 7 fragrances that were shockingly good. Yeah, these are good. Some more than others, but I'll take them all. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me here until the end. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.